Hi, good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, rather. First of all, on the opening statement that Tom mentioned, we are going to assume that you already had done that. Actually, you had done all the hard work. In reality, both in the European Union and in the UK, the companies that adopted a formal environmental management system, such as ISO 14001 or EMAS or ACON, they are actually a minority. It's true that if you are a large company, if you lead a large company, in a way you are forced to do that, to check your environmental aspects because of legislation, for example, the CRC energy efficiency scheme. So having said that, then sustainability communications, why companies do want to do this? Well, really, one of the, or rather, in a nutshell, is marketing advantages, good PR, competitive advantages. So try to show to the stakeholders that you care. And also there are other benefits in terms, for example, of getting public sector business. So those are the advantages that companies seem to seek as emerge from a lot of survey. And in parallel, if you're looking at the other side, companies are making efforts to implement formal environmental management systems, such as ISO 14001 or EMEAS and ACON, for example. And really, some surveys that have been done to assess why they do that confirm really that the motivation are roughly the same. So there is good PR, there is good marketing advantages, the marketing returns, good reputational advantages, and perhaps meet the needs of those consumers or those buyers who are interested in buying green, shall we say, that behave in a green way. The problem with sustainable communication, though, is that there is some sort of element of risk. So all these benefits, in spite of, you can actually you can raise a business case. If you think about green marketing was fashionable in the 80s up to now. So some famous examples include the Body Shop or Lush, company called Lush, or in recent times, you think about Marks and Spencer's with their Plan A, or General Electric with their Eco-Imagination, or BP with their Beyond Petroleum. So the business case is quite strong, because if you look at the Body Shop or Ben & Jerry, they actually build respectable businesses very often on this basis, so on this particular type of positioning that they try to implement. But in terms of the risk, if you just think about BP, that in 2008 they were awarded the Emerald paintbrush for the best greenwash of the year. That gives you an idea of what the risks may be. There is what we call greenwash, or greenwashing, which is when you promote environmental benefits without much substance, which can be alleged. Not necessarily it is true that someone is greenwashing. A company can be accused of hypocrisy. Why not? You can even be fined because perhaps you're stating something that is not backed up. And the other issue is greening the supply chain. It's very easy for a company to say we are very, very green, we achieved a lot of certifications. However, what about your suppliers, and what about your distribution partners, for example? If they are not color coordinated with you, so if they are not green, then everything can fall down, because it becomes quite evident that there is something there that is not working. And finally, there is even the issue of the consumers. You assume that the consumers actually care, but lots of studies, like the Cooperative Ethical Consumerism report, claimed that only about 6% of the consumers claim about these sort of things. So sometimes the assumption that they care, it may be, you may do a lot of effort for nothing in a way. And this brings us nicely to the target audience. So in other words, people that you should be communicating to with your sustainability credentials. And obviously this will involve consumers, so people that buy, and also the customers in terms of business buyers. And here you got to go back to what I said before. Perhaps consumers are not very knowledgeable, perhaps they don't care, so perhaps they need education, they need information as opposed to dazzle, shall we say. Obviously pressure groups are very important because, as we saw in the BP case study, sometimes they got teeth and claws and can actually hurt the company. Obviously investors, various types of stakeholders, including internal ones like employees, because they are important. But also you need to talk to suppliers, as we said, and distribution partners or commercial partners, both to reassure them that you are doing something about the environment, and also to make sure that they do as well. And that's difficult because sometimes they may be powerful. So it's about more relationship management than communications. Perhaps in your communications you need to insert some sort of training program to train their staff, train these companies. Really that needs to account to find out where the power lies in these relationships. So having said all that, what are the best practices in marketing communications, in sustainability communications? Well, the first point I would say would be more informative than persuasive. So it's more about informing and also educating your customers and your audiences, your stakeholders, your investors. And in some cases, so in particular with your distribution partners or with the suppliers, this education could become actually training. So we may actually recommend a significant investment, which is necessary if you were certified and you wanted them to be certified as well. In sustainability communications also, it's very important that your claims are backed up by evidence, so you need to be based on strong evidence. In a way, you need not to brag about too much. You need to be open to criticism and open to suggestions as well. It's also very important to have some sort of third-party endorsement. So examples are, ISO 14001 certification or EMIS, so some sort of structured environmental management system. There are labels on the market available, so there are labels that they are conferred to you by a third party, and this in a way backs up that you are actually using real information and real data and real evidence. So the EU flower, for example, is an interesting example of a label that you can aim at getting. There are other labels such as fair trade, for example, if that is something that is applicable to your business. Incidentally, that's an important point. Make sure that your sustainable communications are also sustainable in practice. Obviously, if you send companies brochures that are very glossy and they get perhaps thrown away, perhaps that's not very sustainable. So there are some technologies that you can call on. For example, print on demand. Today you can do digital printing web-based when you need them. Make sure that your lists are updated so you don't send information to people that don't need it. And follow very simple rules to reduce your impact of your marketing communications, and incidentally that will reduce your costs as well, so you would save as well. So having seen all these practices, I just gave you really broad ideas. What is the benefit of all this, to follow these basic directives? Well, you could gain privileged access to some consumers that actually care for these issues. And some research seems to indicate that sometimes these consumers are actually the more affluent. So there are reasons to target them. Then there is sometimes an advantage when you aim at public sector business. So, you know, it's ticking the classic box to show that you are actually doing something. Like in my case, I work on a project where we've proven to the NHS that there was a recycled content in what the company was supplying, and that actually, you know, ticked the box. So that was an important element. So it was communications. And there is the issue of risk reduction, so trying to avoid the risk of what we can call unintended consequences, which could include accusations of greenwashing and, you know, reputational damage, so damage your reputation. But it could include also fines, because, you know, sometimes it's, your claim are found to be not real, then there may be that thing as well. So thank you very much.